Did you know you don't need to go to the gym to build a body like this? If you're out of shape right now, you can completely transform how you look, how you feel, and how you perform within just a year, assuming you start now and stay consistent. This is the only requirement. Getting in shape is actually pretty simple. There are a lot of things you can do, but there are only a few things that are actually essential. If you do these few essential things for long enough, you will get in a very good shape, both physically and mentally, because they are very correlated. Being physically strong improves your mental performance, and being mentally strong improves your physical performance as well. So getting in shape is a must. Assuming you want to live a good life, of course. And yeah, if you don't want to live a good life, just close this video. Because in this video, I'll share the 3 pillars to master to be in top physical and mental shape. If you master them, your life will be better. And I'll try to keep it simple so you can start implementing right after watching this video. So the 3 pillars are training, nutrition, and recovery. None of these work in the vacuum. If you train perfectly, but you don't eat properly and you don't recover properly, your progress is gonna be shit. If you eat perfectly, but you don't train and recover properly, your progress will be shit. The same thing comes to recovery. If you recover perfectly, but you eat and train like shit, you know what's the answer. When it comes to training and you hate going to the gym, you can use calisthenics training. But yeah, some of you might not know what calisthenics is. So calisthenics basically means bodyweight exercises. It's as simple as that. It means using your own body as the resistance. So if you think of the barbell bench press, right? You are pushing something away. You can do exactly the same movement with calisthenics. You push your body away. This is the difference between weight training and calisthenics. So if you think about that, squats are also calisthenics, right? When you do weighted squats, you just basically do weighted calisthenics. Many calisthenics exercises quickly become too easy, and that's why people think calisthenics doesn't build any muscle. But fortunately, we can manipulate these exercises. We can make these exercises harder, either by adding more weight or by using harder variations, which are in some ways putting more weight on each muscle. So for example, you do your push-ups, and regular push-ups quickly become too easy. In order to put more weight on your chest and shoulders without actually adding weight, you can just do harder variation, like for example, archer push-up or decline push-up. These are harder variation of push-ups, and there are a lot of different variations you can think of. Actually, my previous video is about a whole push-up roadmap, from complete beginner who does knee push-ups to an absolute beast who does things like this. So now you know what is calisthenics. But why does it work? It works exactly the same like weight training. Your body does not know the difference if you push the barbell off or you push yourself off. It's exactly the same movement. But with calisthenics, you use more muscles at the same time. When you push off the barbell, you're only using your chest, shoulders, and triceps. That's it. When you push off yourself during push-ups, you're also using your core. So calisthenics is also very good because if you train a lot of calisthenics, you don't really need to train your core. Almost every single calisthenics exercise trains your core to a certain extent. Maybe not as much as direct core exercises, but it trains your core. I'm not training my core. Look at this. I'm not training my core. Sometimes I do core exercises, but just because they're fun. I do dragon flex, for example, but it's just for flex. I don't do them during my training. So if you do hard enough calisthenics exercises, you can also save your time on core exercises. Maybe at the beginning, just to strengthen your core to a certain extent, you can do core exercises, but later on you don't really need them. Like most calisthenics people I ever met, they don't train their core. Only these people who are just training for fun. But people who are very serious into that, they don't really do this. They just focus on the movements that bring them the most results. Like for example, pull-ups. Pull-ups are amazing exercise. This is like the king of upper body exercises, at least in my opinion. It trains your almost whole upper body, right? This is the best back exercise you can do when you do calisthenics. And I would even go as far as to say, even if you do weightlifting, you should still do pull-ups. And weighted pull-ups. It's so good. This exercise is so good, man. And it's also hitting the core very hard. So that's why calisthenics is amazing, because you have so many different variations. You just do the basic exercises, so it's also not very overwhelming. Yeah, I know it can be a little bit harder to progress than in the gym, because in the gym you pick a few exercises and you just add weights every workout, or maybe every couple of weeks you just add 5 kilograms, 2 kilograms, 10 kilograms, whatever. With calisthenics, you need to think a little bit about how to progress, because you need to figure out a harder variation of the exercise. But still, you have only a couple exercises to do. You have push-up, you have dip, you have squat, you have pull-up. That's it. That's basically it. Okay, there are other exercises, but these are, if you do these 4 movement patterns, you're hitting your whole body. You're hitting practically every single muscle in your body. So you see, you have just kind of 4 different exercises, and then out of these 4 exercises, you have unlimited amount of variations of these exercises, but you still do them in different ways, right? So you still progress and you still hit every muscle in your body. So what I like to do, and what I tell all my clients and all our community members, is to just think of all the movement patterns, like push, pull, legs, and pick 2 exercises for each of these movement patterns. So in some way we have only 3 movement patterns: push, pull, legs, right? When it comes to calisthenics. Okay, there is also technically hinge, but now we focus only on the most basic movement, okay? So when you have push, under the push you have 2 distinct push movement patterns. You have horizontal push, so you push something horizontally, right? And you have vertical push, so you push above your head, right? Just like this. So you have horizontal push, horizontal pull, horizontal push, vertical push, and then exactly the same with pull. And then you have squat. Squat I like to separate for 2-leg squat and 1-leg squat also. It makes programming the training very simple. So I pick 1 vertical exercise and 1 horizontal exercise for pull and push, and then 2 squat exercises. For example, this would be 1 single leg squat variation and 1 2-leg squat variation. So when it comes to training, that's it. Just pick 2 exercises for each movement pattern, do them consistently. I like to train 4 times a week. I do 2 times a week upper body and 2 times a week lower body training. So I train upper, lower, rest, upper, lower, rest, rest. This is a whole week of training, right? You have 4 training days, 3 rest days, a lot of recovery, and also a lot of stimulation. So it's perfect in my opinion, especially that we are quite busy at this moment. So you know which exercises to do and how often to do them. Now you might wonder, how many sets and reps? So in general, I always recommend anywhere between 5 to 15 reps and anywhere between 2 to 4 sets. At this moment, I'm testing doing 2 sets per workout, per exercise, and it works really well. When I do workouts this way, it takes me between 20 to 30 minutes, which if I do this 4 times a week, is like only 2 hours a week in total. So recap. 4 times a week, anywhere between 2 to 4 sets per exercise, and then anywhere between 5 to 15 reps. But I would rather go for around 8, closer to 8 than to 5, because here's one more thing. I'm also very much into time efficiency. So when you do a little bit higher repetition workouts, then the first reps, let's say you do 10 reps, then the first 6, maybe 7 reps will be your warm-up. They will be light enough that you don't need to warm up before them. They will be your warm-up. Okay, I can do some very short warm-up before, but I don't need to really overcomplicate it. I just do a little bit of arm swings, stuff like this, just to make myself feel better before the training itself. So yeah, in general, if you do all of this, what I said, you don't need to think about anything else right now in your training. Implement these things, get consistent with them, and over time, you can start researching other things to add or remove, right? Just focus on this, on these basics, what I just told you. This will be simple to implement. I didn't want to give you too much information, so you can start implementing immediately. When it comes to the second pillar, everybody overcomplicates nutrition so badly. That's crazy. It makes me mad. Nutrition is not very complicated. There are only few things you need to think about, and I'll give you just a few tips to make it simple. First of all, if you can, eat only real food. But if you cannot, if you just love to eat some crap on the side, you can also eat this, but eat mostly real food. And by real food, I mean meat, fish, eggs, maybe some pasta from time to time, stuff like this. But I need you to cook for yourself. This is the main deal. Cook for yourself. And the best thing you can do is to meal prep every Sunday or any other day when you are usually free. For example, I like to cook once or twice a week maximum. And I just spend 1 hour once or twice a week cooking, putting it in the boxes, putting the boxes in the fridge, and that's it. I don't need to think about food anymore. This makes life so much easier, man. It makes health so much easier. That's the first thing. But it also makes life so much easier because you don't need to think about, oh, what I'm gonna eat today, what I'm gonna order, or where I'm gonna go to eat, or what I'm gonna cook. You don't need to think about this anymore. You just think about this one time a week, and that's it. It makes life so much easier. That's why I always recommend to actually meal prep once a week or twice a week. You'll want to eat a lot of protein because I'm pretty sure you're under-eating protein. Most people under-eat protein and overeat carbs. Carbs are not evil, you just overeat them. So try to increase your protein intake. Just after this video, check out some of your favorite protein sources. Like for example, mine is eggs. I freaking love eggs. And they are also one of the most nutritious foods on the entire planet. So eggs are a go-to. And they also have the highest quality protein, which means the higher the quality of the protein, the more you absorb from it. Eggs are so high quality to the point that when they measure the quality of protein, they actually measure it against eggs. Eggs are the gold standard. So think about eggs. Besides that, of course, meat. A lot of meat. A lot of meat equals a lot of protein and other essential nutrients. Because it's also not only about protein, carbs and fats. It's also about micronutrients. Carbs, protein and fats are just macronutrients, but it's also about micronutrients. Meat, especially red meat or eggs or stuff like this, have a lot of micronutrients. That's why it's way better than just buying some high protein stuff in shop. You know, like, I don't know, protein bars or stuff like this. It probably doesn't really have a lot of micronutrients, just like the meat has. So yeah, just eat high quality food. Eat the real food. That's the main thing about nutrition. If you do this and 90% of your diet is real food, it's really hard to get fat because it's hard to overeat on real food. Okay, it's possible, but it's hard. So let's finish with the eating, just implement these things, and let's move to the third pillar, which is recovery. People love to overcomplicate recovery, just like people love to overcomplicate diet, right? Recovery is actually just about not doing anything. When you think about recovery from training, you might think about some massage guns, rollers, going to sauna, going to cold plunges, doing, I don't know, infrared therapy, everything, all this shit. But no, recovery is about not doing anything. If you look at professional athletes, they're not doing all this crap. They're just going to training, they train very hard, then they come back home, they go to sleep, or they watch something. They chill. They're professional chillers. Yeah, they're professional chillers. But when it comes to some strategies how to recover better, the most important thing is sleep. Nothing beats sleep. Sleep is one of the most important things for every part of your life. It literally affects every single part of your life. I don't believe you could find a part of your life that sleep doesn't affect. If you sleep like shit, you will compromise other parts of your life. So here is a simple strategy I use to improve my sleep. This is the 3-2-1 sleep framework. It means 3 hours before bed, you stop eating anything. So your body can actually rest rather than digest. Then 2 hours before bed, you stop drinking. And I don't mean only alcohol, I mean in general liquids, or at least limit the liquids. If you are still thirsty, then you can drink a little bit, but limit them. And the reason is that if you don't drink before sleep, you're not gonna wake up to pee. That's the whole thing. If you don't wake up to pee, your sleep quality will be higher. Simple as that. If I drink within 1 hour before sleep, I'm probably gonna wake up. If I don't drink for at least 2 hours before sleep, there is no chance I'm gonna wake up. At least for me. Maybe for you it will be different, I don't know. But in general, it helps. And then 1 hour before bed, limit bright lights. Your body sees this bright light or bright screen or something, and your body just thinks, hey, it's still daytime. I'm not gonna be creating a lot of melatonin anymore, because why would I? Why would I prepare to sleep, right? So just implement this change and watch your sleep improve. I heard so many people telling me how much their sleep improved just by implementing this simple strategy. And it's really simple, and it's also very easy to remember. 3, 2, 1, that's it. And it's free. And last recovery tip is to try non-sleep deep rest protocols. I'm using these ones from Andrew Huberman, and they're simply amazing. There are 2 variations. There is 10-minute one and 20-minute one. Here I have a sofa next to my office. I just lay down on the sofa for 10 minutes and I just chill, listen to the script, and do the breath work. After 10 minutes, you just feel better. I use this instead of caffeine at this moment. In the past, I was kind of a caffeine junkie, like very big junkie of caffeine. To fight these afternoon crashes, which you probably know what I mean, I just lay down and do 10 or 20 minute NSDR. And after this 10 or 20 minutes, I just feel so much more fresh. This is very good recovery strategy, especially in the middle of the day. So yeah, this is how regular man can become high-performing man. Just implement the strategies I told you and see your life change. Not only physically by how you look, because this will also change, but also by how you feel and perform. Fitness is really life-changing because it's changing how you think, it's changing how you feel. If you feel better, you take better actions. If you think differently, you take better actions. Yeah, you make better decisions. So fitness is changing your life. So just go implement these things, and I'll see you on the other side.